U.S. aircraft carrier warned China's second aircraft carrier in the South China Sea. Welcome to this video on the recent deployment of a second U.S. aircraft carrier to the South China Sea. The U.S. has been increasing its military presence in the region, and this latest move is seen as a show of force to China. In this video, we will explore the implications of this deployment and what it means for the U.S.-China relationship. The U.S. Ronald Reagan is one of the U.S. Navy's most powerful aircraft carriers, measuring over 1,000 feet in length and carrying a complement of fighter jets, helicopters, and other military aircraft. Its arrival in the South China Sea is seen as a direct challenge to China's claims over the disputed waters, and tensions have been high ever since. U.S. officials have made it clear that they will not back down from asserting their presence in the region, and the deployment of the U.S. Ronald Reagan is just one part of a broader strategy to maintain a strong military presence in the Asia-Pacific. As the U.S. Ronald Reagan made its way through the South China Sea, Chinese military vessels closely monitored its movements, sparking fears of a potential confrontation. However, U.S. officials have emphasized that the deployment of the aircraft carrier is purely for defensive purposes and that they are not seeking to escalate the situation. The U.S. Navy has deployed a second aircraft carrier to the South China Sea amid rising tensions with China. The U.S. John C. Stennis, a Nimitz-class aircraft carrier, arrived in the region on February 16th, joining the U.S. Theodore Roosevelt, which has been operating in the South China Sea since January. The deployment of two aircraft carriers in the region is seen as a show of force to China and a message that the U.S. is committed to maintaining its presence in the region. China claims almost all of the South China Sea, which is a major shipping route and is believed to have significant oil and gas reserves. The U.S. has been conducting freedom of navigation operations in the region, which China sees as a provocation. The deployment of two aircraft carriers is likely to further anger China and escalate tensions in the region. The U.S. has accused China of militarizing the South China Sea by building artificial islands and installing military facilities on them. China has denied these accusations and has accused the U.S. of destabilizing the region by its military presence. The deployment of two aircraft carriers is likely to further exacerbate these tensions. Footage released by the Chinese Navy on Wednesday of training in English on China's second aircraft carrier Shandong may have revealed some important details that were not previously known. For instance, it's highly likely that the Shandong had a close encounter with a U.S. aircraft carrier in the South China Sea, military experts said. This is Chinese Navy Warship 17. A crew member hailed in both Chinese and English in a short video of the Shandong conducting actual combat training in the South China Sea, showing G-15 fighter jets flying around the clock. It gives people an overwhelming sense of security. The Chinese Navy described the Shandong's words on its official WeChat account. In 2021, the Type 055 large destroyer Nanshang went abroad for the first time to participate in the China-Russia Maritime Joint Exercise and Cruise. During the joint cruise, the soldiers of Nanshang called down to foreign ships and aircraft followed in English. "I am a Chinese Navy 101. I am sailing. Keep a safe distance from me." Song Zhongping, a Chinese military expert and TV commentator, told the Global Times that the Chinese People's Liberation Army, PLA, warships and warplanes need to speak English when they encounter foreign warships and aircraft. He believes it's possible the Shandong has had a close encounter with a U.S. aircraft carrier in the South China Sea. Normally, aircraft carriers from different countries always keep a safe distance once they meet on the high seas, said Song, adding that helicopters and ships from both sides will keep watch around each other's carrier and tell each other who they are and what they are sailing for without hostility. In addition, the expert said there are two possible situations for shouting that could have occurred when the Shandong is on duty. One situation is that foreign warships and planes are close to the drill area when the Chinese warships and planes are conducting drills. The Chinese military needs to call out to inform them that if they enter the drill area, they will force them to drive away. On the other hand, the PLA Navy will also call out foreign warships and aircraft to leave and stay away from sensitive waters, such as the Nansha and Xisha Islands. Song believes the phrase "an overwhelming sense of security" shows that the PLA Navy always has the determination and courage to fight and win, regardless of whether the U.S. military sends aircraft carriers or not, or how many aircraft carriers are sent to the South China Sea. It is worth noting that the U.S. 7th Fleet announced on February 12 that the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps, led by the U.S. Nimitz Aircraft Carrier Strike Group and the 13th Marine Expeditionary Unit, are conducting joint exercises in the South China Sea. This is the second time this year that the Carrier Strike Group has entered the South China Sea. The official account of the PLA Navy also released the latest shots of the Shandong's training in the South China Sea, showing that the carrier, consisting of ships and fighter jets of different types, is preparing for a real combat exercise. Military experts believe that this coincidence shows the importance of Shandong's deployment in the South China Sea. Song said that it is an inevitable military task and one of its important military missions for Shandong to perform its duty as a combat ship in the South China Sea. Thank you for watching this video on the recent deployment of a second U.S. aircraft carrier to the South China Sea. The deployment of 2 aircraft carriers is seen as a show of force to China and is likely to escalate tensions in the region. We will continue to monitor this situation and bring you updates as they become available. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more videos on international news and politics.